Hey there, still eating, and video number 4, February 15th, 2011, and I will stop smiting Valentine's Day. Again, video number 4. So we've gone through our first week, and things really feel kind of blurry at this point. We've spent a really intense amount of time during the weekend, and I stayed pretty much at her place, and looking back, I was just like, this is really nice, just also being with somebody and resting with somebody and talking with somebody and eating with somebody. And it's just nice having that little bit in my life. But also too, I started feeling nervous because I'm also the kind of person who likes to have a lot of alone time. It's kind of a personal requirement for me. I just feel like I can't give anything if I don't come up with new material. And I don't think about how I'm supposed to act or how I'm supposed to be or jokes that I'd like to tell. But it's like I'm always constantly exhuming parts of myself and bringing it out and bringing it out. And when I'm around somebody, it's like it's really hard to recharge and be original and be myself. And I feel like that's really crucial, And one of my promises that I told myself is that if I ever got in a relationship, there are two things that I would not do. One of them is not a long-distance relationship unless it had been established already. And the second thing is not moving in with somebody. I can't do it. I would love to. It saves money. It seems like a wonderful idea, but it's very far and few between where that kind of chemistry actually works out. And then also too, it's like there's lots of room for jealousy and misinterpretation, snubbing, and I think that it's really great during the formative stages of a relationship that friendship develops, as I've mentioned before. But in the terms of friendship, it's like being very deliberate about when you spend time together, and just the whole process of getting to know somebody. There's just something that just a numbing that starts to happen. It's just like, I need to go back to my bedroom. I need to get away, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a natural thing. So it's like I felt like I needed to get away, and so we finally backed off a little bit. But at this point, we started talking about something that would really kind of just also change the dynamic of our relationship. Was just her mentioning that in June she'd be leaving for 2 months, going to New York for a job. 2 months, no big deal. No big deal. Sounds actually pretty good. Well, 2 weeks after that, she'd come back, something like that, and then immediately leave for Spain for 9 months. And then for me, I was just like, well, wow, it's really hard for that not to shape this right here. It's like, I know that if I commit more time into this relationship, that I would essentially be setting up, and if things go well, I am setting up a long-distance relationship. And that's one of the things that I didn't want to do, is set up a long-distance relationship. I just want to have a relationship here. I don't want a virtual one. I don't want one where there's pen pal action going on. It's just for me, it's about a particular lifestyle. Right now, it's I like the friendship aspect. I like the idea of hanging out every once in a while. I like the idea of spending time and cooking meals. I like the idea of knowing that there's somebody in my life also that is closer to me in a particular way that's unique. I also like the idea that I don't have to go far away to be able to access this sort of comfort, because my family is already far, far away from me. My sister's 800 plus miles away from me. The rest of my family is 10,000 miles away from me. It's just my family is just far away from me. And the last thing I want is just the person that I'm affectionate with is also to be somebody who's far away from me. It's just I'm in a spot where I'm really tender, and I'm going to be really selfish and just say at least in the beginning, I can't really have that. So I felt like I was going against my intuition once again, and I'm just like, I'm not sure I can continue with this. Like, this is a lot. It's a lot, you know. And at this point, I'm kind of freaking out, and it's really hard to concentrate on the present. And you know, at this point, I'm like asking people for advice, like, what would you do in this particular situation? The majority of the advice was like, well, June's far away, so you should just go for it. You know, like, there's still a lot of time to do lots of great things. But then again, I'm a very like logistical person. I like to think about things like, well, you know, it's February. That's the second month of the year. June is the sixth month of the year. That leaves me 4 months. And I'm thinking about 4 months. 4 months times 4 weeks, roughly. That's 16 weeks. 16 weeks of, you know, we miss 1 week of not hanging out. That's 15. That's 14. You know, maybe I'm being very monomaniacal about things. But the thing is, I know that that's something about me. And the best way to avoid thinking and being in that situation is to not have this time constraint placed on the relationship. So like the idea of things being more open-ended alleviates that anxiety that I have. I like to plan things out ahead, and I feel silly for going against that, you know, and I definitely need to mix in spontaneity. I definitely need to mix in risks, but at the same time, like, I know what I can do, and I know what makes me me versus another person, and I appreciate those aspects in me that look out for me, because I mean, I'm in a very solitary position, you know, as somebody who has to take care of my own self financially and this and that. So it's like, it's just part of my mentality, you know, and maybe that'll change with time. But so I went against it, and I was just like, okay, well, let's just keep going. And at this point, I felt like I was doing something that I didn't want to do. And it was really difficult to spend time together without thinking about that. And it really bothered me a whole lot. Because once again, like, when we first met, at her pace, this long-term constraint in the distance, that was her constraint. Everywhere, throughout this whole time continuum, was based on her, and it's just like, there's very little bit of like what I wanted, what I, you know, time out. So, again, I didn't take that into consideration. I just kept going and kept going. Eventually, I found myself up to the present moment, you know, and I got into a little bit of an argument, a snippet, because we sort of had loose plans to meet up one night, and she's like, "Well, I'll be there soon, like 9 o'clock." And she's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay, fine, sure." You know, after my meeting, cool. And she's like, "Well, a little bit later," and it kept getting pushed back until it was like, I don't know when I'm leaving. So at this point, when she's telling me she's not sure when she's leaving, 3 hours have already passed. Time out. I'm just gonna stare at you for a second while I regain my composure. A little bit of soup. But, again, you know, just kind of like, and more immediately going with her time schedule. I know her family was in for a reunion and 2 birthdays. I was totally cool with not making plans. The way I saw it was like, it's getting late. I'm just gonna go home, go eat, and go to sleep. It would have been fine. But she just kept telling me to wait. And at this point, I was so pissed off. I was just like, you're disrespecting me. You know, at this point, I'm like, I'm going home now. And of course, as she's driving towards my direction, she's... How about? I gotta grab some water. I will definitely edit that out, because that was rude of me to leave in the middle of recording. But anyways, not my control. So she basically blows me off for a few hours, and I'm like, I need to go. I'm going home, and she catches me on my way home walking, and I'm like, I don't really want to hang out, but at the same time, I want to like kind of talk a little bit, just talk a little. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm sleepy. I'm cranky, and I'm like, this is just not a good formula for hanging out. So we grab some. I grab some food. We go back to her place. And I just want to go to sleep. And at this point, she's working on her homework. And here's another thing too, is just that she was suggesting, based on my living situations, because my roommates are moving out, that I possibly consider moving in with her. So this is probably a bad decision on my part, but I wanted to see what it would be like on a night where I was really cranky and tired and sleepy and such, trying to go to sleep and us sharing a room and her doing her homework and the lights on. It was just no good. But I could eventually fall asleep. But then at this point, her roommate comes home and he's just talking, and it just ended up like conversation happening until 5 or 6 in the morning. And I had work the next day, and I was just like, I feel like crap, and hence I felt like crap, and this is why I'm sick. So. In general, I'm like resistant to sicknesses fairly well, so long as I get my sleep. Otherwise, it's game over for me. So I get upset at her, and I'm just like, you know what, Kat, you're just selfish. She's like, what? And I'm like, you are selfish. And you can't see it, but you're just really selfish. And I just go to sleep, and she tries to, touch me, and I'm just like I'm just ignoring her touch. Not like shooing her away, but just ignoring her. And the next morning, she has a freak out, and we have to leave immediately. And I'll continue on that with video part 5 and conclusion to this whole dramatic series as to what has been going on. And then I'd like to have a video 6, which won't be a part of, like, this will be 1 through 5, and then the 6th video will just kind of be a little bit of like more details and like just experiencing relationships and intimacy on hormone therapy. So I'll get more on that. So thanks for watching. Video 5 is on the way.